What's going on, everybody? Am I hearing this music all over again? What's
No.
oh no, I got to mute over here. Whoops. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Hi-Fi podcast. My name is Chana. With me, as always, we've got Joe and Aaron. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys have I know you guys had a busy weekend. Aaron went over to Joe's house to shoot some videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll talk
that was
about
fun.
that later.
I got to okay, yeah, we'll table that and come back to it because I try to save the negative stuff for the
Later
end.
in the show.
Yeah. Talk about the good stuff. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So but you know what? What have you guys been up to lately aside from traveling around? Well, Aaron, you've been traveling around. What'd you see in SoCal that you liked?
Well, so we went just for Disneyland, but we wound up renting a car and we drove to the Cabazon dinosaurs, which is something cool to see.
Yep.
And then we went to the San Diego Zoo one day because we honestly we were just kind of like, all right, let's do something else today because we're kind of burnt out on Disney. And I thought, well, we're not that far from San Diego, so let's just drive down there to the zoo. Dude, that zoo, I didn't know what I was expecting. That zoo is huge. I mean, I'm assuming you guys have been to it.
Long time ago. I don't know what it's like.
I thought you were gonna say it smells.
No,
Well, I mean,
it was.
I'm
it was
sure
all
it probably
good.
does too.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I'm used to it because I smell myself, But other than that, that zoo was insanely large. I mean, we've been to some of the the nicer zoos, I guess, in our area, Memphis. Well, I say nicer because we have a couple local ones that are small, right? Like we have the Birmingham Zoo, which is a nice zoo, but it's small. The Nashville Zoo, I think, is a nice zoo, but it's kind of small. But the Memphis Zoo is a nice zoo, and I think it's larger than those other two by a good bit. So I was thinking it might be on the scale like the Memphis Zoo, but that San Diego Zoo was huge. And I actually Googled to see if it was one of the largest zoos. Apparently, the largest zoo in the United States, probably by some weird metric, is the Columbus, Ohio Zoo, I think. I was surprised by that.
Okay.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's huge, huh?
It's huge.
I
didn't realize how
to walk around or what.
Oh yeah. Well, we kept
go
tracking.
Did you go to what is the other one? SeaWorld?
No, we didn't do that. No, we didn't do that. We just drove down to San Diego for that zoo. It was funny. My wife was like, "Oh, we'll spend like 2.5 hours," because my family, we blow through stuff pretty quickly. So we were thinking we'll be there for like 2.5, maybe 3 hours, and then we'll be turn around, come back to Disneyland, before they close. And we still made it back, but we were there for like 6 hours, and I don't think we saw everything.
How long did you take driving? Because when you said you were going to drive over, I'm like, why?
Well, it was an hour and a half down there. It was closer to 2 hours back because when we came through around 5:30 or so, which I knew we were going to hit rush hour traffic, but it wound up not being too bad. That HOV lane is nice, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I'm going to tell you this. Every time we go to Disney World in Florida, because for those who don't know, I live in North Alabama, and it takes me about 9 to 10 hours, depending on traffic, to get to Orlando, Florida, to go to Disney World. And we go there about once a year. And every time we drive down there, every time I get to about the southern half of Georgia and start going through Florida, I'm like, none of these people know how to drive. They're all ridiculously slow, and they're hogging the left lane. I'm not kidding. California drivers are so bad with the left lane driving that I even Googled to make sure that I didn't have it, like it wasn't flip-flop there.
Yeah,
just because of, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it's because they had the HOV lane and then they just flip-flop it, and it's so bad. Everybody just cruises in the left lane. I'm like, oh my God, move. Move.
Yeah,
anyway.
man. So,
but other than that, we had a good trip.
It's interesting seeing people in person, right? Without any latency, to see if there's a change in the way you interact.
With this, so there's no latency.
Right.
No, seriously,
What does this mean, Joe?
So I realize I do actually I talk a lot. I think
Joe, you were excited. I could tell. You were like, Joe was like, at one point said, "Sorry, man, I'm just excited. I was like a big kid with toys."
Oh yeah,
like,
because
cool.
I like to show everybody my.
He was
stuff.
showing me all of his stuff.
It was show and tell, right?
That was the whole point of my
Show and
channel,
tell.
right? To show the stuff that I have, the stuff that I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had fun.
I'm glad
And
I was
figured,
able to make it.
Who can I nerd out with the most, and who's gonna kind of understand the stuff that I'm talking about?
Right.
I'm like this guy right here. I can nerd out with pretty
We nerded
hard.
out pretty hard. It's only 15 minutes from the hotel that I was at too, so I was like, well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I thought you were gonna be way taller because I think most of the pictures that you have are you and your daughter. So I'm like, oh, this dude must be huge.
I'm average height.
Yeah. I mean, you have a pretty big dome, so I understand why you're why you're smart. No, I'm just saying, like,
I'll take that.
There you go.
I'll take that.
Come on.
Uh,
I'm not busting some Sean. I'm just saying, sometimes you're like, oh, this, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Anyway.
I'll take it.
Anyway.
I'll live
Aaron
much
looks
better
better
without latency.
latency and distortion.
Ike, you want to talk about somebody being tall? Have y'all met Ike?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was about to say right now. Because
Yeah,
I
was
saw
like,
your picture.
"What's up,
I'm
dude?"
like, oh, okay. All right. I don't want to stand next to Ike.
Yeah, Ike is tall. Yeah.
Man.
But we had a good trip. I'm glad we went, man. I just I don't know that we'll be back out that way for a while because I'm officially burnt out on Disneyland.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's an ordeal.
Yeah. Next time maybe just do a
Joe's
little
got
bit more
tickets, dude.
more,
Yeah, he
more
does.
like
Season
California,
passes.
just like instead of touristy stuff, just like hang out for a while, just eat at different
Well,
spots.
that's
Oh,
what we
yeah,
did
yeah.
last
Just
year.
like don't,
Joe, you got the best idea. Aaron, we can go to a couple of different weed shops, try
Oh.
some
Yeah,
different
no, I'm sure
stuff, and then go on a little restaurant crawl.
I'm sure my job would
right.
love that. Yeah.
all right.
I'm sure my clearance wouldn't be revoked like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
man.
the only one too.
Yeah.
When we go to Vegas, I'm like, all right, I'll go with you, but
I'm
Yeah,
boring.
man,
I'll be the designated driver.
Dude, that Planet 19 weed shop in Vegas is like, it was like a spa. Like, I
what
thought they
I'm
were going to
saying.
hand us like robes and stuff. Get comfortable. There's
I
like this
know.
over here. There's this food over there. Like, what's going on?
Amazing. It was just amazing that, like, oh man, like, can't believe that's legal and like it's totally normal. And I thought that was super cool that, like, it's never been a big deal to me personally. But anyway, hey, I want to say what's up to the people here in the chat, by the way. I see keeping up with the Joneses, always giving positive vibes. You know what I mean? So appreciate you,
Keeping
man.
up with the Joneses.
The ass man is in the house.
Kramer?
ASS.
Ike, we already mentioned you.
True
Who
voice
else
of
we got?
reason.
Junior
Tim
OG.
Perry.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Who is she?
Gary. Angela's here.
Who is
Voice
she?
of Reason. Ripe Wave. Don, Kamish, Bob. I mean, I don't want to. Sorry if I missed.
Gary's
Yeah, well,
here.
I'm sure if you ask a question, we always try to get to the questions. Make sure it's a
Unless
good
we
one,
don't
though.
like you.
If it's something we've answered like a
Mhm.
million times, then we might pass over it.
Like which
You know,
one sounds better, Oro
I
3
was-
or Atmos?
I was talking. Oh, I think I know your preference.
He's trying to set it up.
Might.
I was talking to my buddy from college, and he's like today, out of the blue, randomly, and he's like, you guys like just, I'm lost after like 5 minutes. I don't know what you guys are talking about. He's like, it's a little bit. He's like, it's not sexy. And I just started laughing. I'm like,
okay.
I see what you're saying.
Well,
but
I know he
mean,
ain't talking about me.
This is the subject matter isn't sexy.
Oh, okay.
Is
Yeah.
what he's
It's like,
talking
come on.
about. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
But,
you kind of got to
it's
be
all good.
indoctrinated already in order
Yeah.
to jump in. I mean, this is like jumping into the deep end of the pool and you're just getting hit with all sorts of.
And you don't know how to swim.
Yeah,
You're
right.
like,
Exactly.
"Oh."
Like somebody's just saying, all right, figure it out. Good luck.
How do we make it sexy? What do you want to talk
I
about?
don't know.
I don't know, man.
Like Bluetooth headphones. Want to talk about like sound bars? What should we talk about?
I don't know.
Nothing.
But it's
Let's
all
just
good. But it's
talk
all
about
good.
each
But
other.
you know what is sexy? I will be DJing in San Diego. So if you guys, any of you out there in the LA, San Diego area want to come out, it'll be August 5th and 6th. I'll be posting up like details later. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun time.
ATL, shouty.
I think it's gonna be put on by my alcohol sponsorship people.
Put on.
the peanut butter whiskey. What is it? Screwball whiskey. Yeah.
So Aaron showed me that track when he came over.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that track
Jeezy.
Put On.
Which one?
I didn't know
What
it had
track
that much
is
bass.
Put on. That's the name of it. It's
So if you
Jeezy
guys
track.
want a new
Kanye.
a new old track.
Like Kanye?
Yeah.
Try that
When
one.
did that
for
come
a
out? Like
bass.
2008, 9, 10? Been out a while.
Don't know, but it's had some
It's got
good
some.
bass.
Young
got some low lows.
Jeezy featuring Kanye West.
Yeah. When it gets to Kanye, you can just turn it off. It's garbage after that. But and that I like some Kanye songs. I don't like all of his songs, but yeah,
Fair
that song's got like 3 or 4 low notes, and it starts like in the I don't know, like 50 or 60 hertz, and it just steps down, and And then when you get to that bottom note, it's like it's that wubba wubba note, that just air moving note that you don't really hear.
How do you describe that? What's your way of describing
it? He just did it. He just did. It's the
wubba
wubba
wubba. It's just pressure, dude. It's just like like everything just goes.
That's great. I love it.
I don't know how else you describe that, man.
It sounds like you're underwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean everything just, I don't know, but it's cool, man. I like it.
So yeah. So what happens? Anytime you go to somebody's house, right, and they're like, "Hey, check out my system,"
and you're trying to be nice.
You're trying to be nice, right?
You're like, oh,
sucks. Yeah.
You're like, it's okay. I'm not gonna. Aaron's like, I'm not moving from Pro Logic 2. Like, I'm
not moving from 3.2 to this, but
yeah.
No, I thought it was cool, man. Joe,
so I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, and just
I already told you what I had to say.
Put it on blast.
You want to put it on blast,
and don't pull any punches. I really want to know.
Well,
and you know why it doesn't matter, because I just have a bunch of other speakers here too. So
you're going to use whatever you want to use. You don't care what I think.
Speakers, I'll make some calls and get some news. It's not a big deal. I
thought it sounded good. I thought it sounded. So let's just go to the Oro 3D thing versus the Atmos, because I've never heard either. Right. Okay. I mean, other than like maybe going to a real theater, but not in a home theater setting. So Joe flipped back and forth between the two different setups. And one was, he would flip between tracks that were supposed to be Oro 3D demo tracks and tracks that were supposed to be Atmos tracks. And the one thing that I consistently found with the Atmos was that you would always hear the difference in the bed layer versus what's the other layer you guys talk? So there's a bed layer and there's height layer. Okay. You would consistently hear those different speakers as if they're two different speakers. But with Oro, I don't know if it seemed like it went as high, but it blended better. And I think I like that better because it wasn't as stark of a difference. It wasn't like, here's this speaker at eye level, and then here's this other speaker way up here in the ceiling. It was just like, oh, there's sounds going on in this area between, but it's not like binary where it's 1 and 0,
It like calling attention to itself, kind of like, hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Right.
I like that. Yeah. So if that is typical of Oro 3D versus Atmos, like if I were to demo that same thing in my own room, then based off of that alone, right, before all the haters jump on, just based off of that experience, I would have to say I like Oro 3D better than Atmos.
Okay.
As far as do I like Oro 3D versus regular stereo, I think that could be either way. I think it would depend on the track for me. And I think that's perfectly okay to say that you have a preference. Like I like this one more, or I like this one more, or sometimes I like one or the other. Like people in the audio industry, like in the comments are always like, well, I like this one and I don't like this one. It's like, well, you can like both. You don't have to like one or the other.
Yeah.
You can, and you can, hey, here's an idea. Take the button and switch to the one you do like for a little bit. And when you don't like it anymore, switch to the other one.
We switched probably like 30 times, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I used to run rear fill in my car and I used to play around with it. Sometimes, certain tracks it would pull to the back too much, even when properly level matched. And then other times it would enhance the sound, the sound stage. It just made it have more ambiance.
Yeah. So and I remember I was playing some tracks for you. I'm like, hey, tell me some tracks that you usually listen to. And then I turned, just went to stereo, but with subs. So it still had, calibration, but just stereo with the subs versus upmix the Oro. And I'm like, did it make it worse? Was my question to you, right? Did it everybody says DSP Hall effect, right? You know what those sound like if you ever press those, like hello, get that out of here, get that out of here right
Stadium
now, right?
And all that.
Right. So that was my question, was like, did it make it worse? And I remember going to Oro, or I had it on Oro first, and then went to stereo, and you're like, oh, that sounds flatter, right?
Right. Yeah,
I remember you saying that.
At least with that one track, it just sounded like flat, like not frequency response flat, but just in terms of sound, it just sounded flat. Like boom, there's a sound. That's it. There's no enhancement to it.
Yeah.
For better or worse. Again, some people may prefer that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Depending on what mood I'm in, I might like one or the other more. So
I think the whole idea is it's not, if it's not making it worse, right? And even if it's not making it like, oh, it's like a huge game changer, right? But if it's not making it worse and it's making it more enjoyable for you,
right?
I don't see what the issue is with everybody like, just use what you like. I think when I talked to Angela about it, she said that, what it might be is for the folks who already have an Atmos setup with some in-ceiling speakers. It's not that easy to try, right? It's not like, okay, well, I want to try it. Well, what do I have to do? I have to put on like some front height speakers. Like, it's not that easy to go and change up your setup. And so I think those usually are the people who are like, you know what? It's garbage, right? Like, let me go ahead and just dismiss it so that I don't have to think about it, right? It's probably trash.
It could be. I mean, so, you listened to it that way and you thought it was not good.
I didn't like it. I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about, Chana. But then when I moved the speakers to the front, I'm like, oh, all right, I see what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that.
I mean, it all depends. I mean, like, if you think about people hiring, like, you know, installers and stuff. Hey, I want an Atmos setup. They're gonna immediately. They're gonna go. Oh yeah, okay. Let's get you some in ceilings. Let's get you this. Let's get you that.
Right.
So, you know, there's that. Then they all of a sudden hear about Oro and they're like, oh, well, I'm not gonna. I just paid for all this stuff to be installed. I'm not gonna like switch it out. You know, like for me though, you know, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know.
So listen up out there. I get it. I understand why you may not want to switch, and that's fine. But if you do have the setup and you're willing to try it out, you know, what's wrong with trying something if it's not too much of a hassle for you? And if you're interested, then go for it. If you're not interested, then don't do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed, you posted a picture of us, right? And then I posted a picture on yours. This one guy went off on like, blah blah blah. Did you read through that, Aaron?
I didn't. I didn't read through it. No. So I had my own. We'll come back to mine. I had some weird one today. I was like, what?
Okay. Anyway. This guy was basically saying I'm a shill for Monolith, like, because I'm raving about the Encore series so much that nobody else liked it. Nobody credible likes those speakers or something like that. Something to this effect, right? And I was like, is it possible that I just like the speakers? Like, is that
right?
Am I supposed to hate it? All right, so they're my sponsor, so I have to hate everything they do to be credible now. Like, maybe I'm choosing Monolith because they consistently come out with pretty good stuff that measures well, right? And I'm using them in my system right now. So I told you, Aaron, I'm using all this like inexpensive stuff, even though I have more expensive speakers. And it's just a challenge. Like, let me see if I can make these sound better with DSP, right? Because, you know, if you have some great speakers, there's not very much that you need to do, right? They're just leave them as is. But these are not perfect, right? They're inexpensive. And so, I was kind of curious what you thought, because you've heard them in your system, Aaron, the various Encore series. And at one point, I remember we switched from stereo to like pure direct. And you kind of gave me like that look, like, right? When we went to pure direct,
I recognize.
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, because when I demo them, sometimes I will EQ the speakers. You know, like sometimes I'll run direct live, but then sometimes I won't. It just depends. I don't really, not that big of a deal, because most of what I listen to is review from like how good is the speaker itself, you know, and will it respond to EQ, and then that's kind of it. I don't like sit and listen to it with direct run on it most of the time.
Yeah.
So with those speakers, I don't recall having ran direct on them. Like I did some mini DSP manual EQ, but not the full kit and caboodle. So yeah, I kind of knew what to expect when you switched over to direct. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm used to hearing.
Yeah. So did you think it sounded better with the DSP?
Oh, it definitely sounded better with 100% sounded better with DSP. I mean, that's no doubt. Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine that anybody would like the speaker without DSP. But I think that goes for most speakers, especially when you're talking about like DSP and the mid-range, the mid-bass area, to help kind of clean up some of that crap in between. So but those speakers do well with EQ.
So here's another question for you specifically: is you have tried like the per listen, like these crazy, like super nice speakers, right? Like I'd love to have some per listen speakers.
Right.
You know, so you understand, like, okay, these speakers are great, maybe even without DSP. Right. Would it be crazy for me to say, you know what, I can't really afford those right now, so I'm just going to use these inexpensive ones and DSP them and try to make them sound as good as possible? Because I'm still, it's a garage home theater, right? There's other issues that I have to deal with too. Is that ridiculous, or would you advise, like, hey, you know what, get some better speakers?
No, I think, well, I mean, obviously you can only spend as much as you have, right? So you just say, hey, whatever is in your price range, get the best that you can afford in that price range. That's what I would generally advise. I think the mono price are okay. And I mean, would I buy the mono price over the per listen if I had the money? I probably wouldn't buy either one of them, if I'm being honest. I don't know what I would buy, but I don't know that I would buy either one of them.
Okay.
So
how about this specific? And this is interesting because you actually get to hear my system. So I could be like, one of these guys asking specific questions right now, right?
Right.
And asking for advice. You've reviewed the Arendal, so same designer.
Yeah.
All we're talking about, Dan Romer's designed the Monolith Encore, the Arendal, I forget the number, and the per listen.
There's a few different ones, yeah.
So should I go with like an Arendal speaker? Or what do you think? What do you recommend for my setup?
I'll say this: the Arendal, the smaller ones, the 1961, I think, those are nice, and they're very good for the money. I mean, they're definitely like more money than the Encores, right? They're probably like double the price. But man, those speakers are really nice. They maybe even triple the price. I really don't recall what they are off the top, but
noticeable difference. You think? I would. Like
sans EQ, 100% for sure without EQ. Now, like with EQ, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to sit down and try to do that back and forth. That'd be too hard for me to say for sure. But I actually like. Somebody was asking the 1723 or the 1961. I think the 1723 are great speakers. Let's throw this up there on their own. The 1961s are cheaper. And I don't know by how much, but they're like more like the intro level price for Arendal, which again, I don't recall what that is. But I like the 1961. To me, that's probably the best budget speaker in terms of like mid-tier budget for home theater. Right? It's not budget. Like we're not talking like Sony or Numi or mono price budget, but those are kind of like the mid-budget area, the mid to high budget area. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are really good. They're really small. They're super compact. That's what's really impressive about them.
I'm just amazed that these, like right now, these monolith towers are $700 for a pair. The bookshelves are $300 a pair. Like we're talking, that's pretty inexpensive. I don't know what everybody else.
And I know, Joe, you like a deal, bro. You like something that sounds good at an inexpensive price. So,
well, that's to me, that's what's sexy, right? Because we can talk about expensive stuff all day,
and it better sound good.
And it better sound good. But how about for these folks who are just starting out, right? They, the price is a limiting factor for a lot of people.
Sure,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so when I can recommend something that's $300 a pair, that makes me happy. I can get more people into the hobby. And then from there, we can move them up, to nicer things. But imagine if somebody spends $300 and their experience is not good.
It's doo-doo.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Anyway.
I mean, I noticed that.
What'd you notice, Shauna? What is he doing?
Plug my silly camera in. The power.
Uh-oh. Look at that forearm. Ooh-wee. Look at that crease on that forearm right there. I can almost see a vein. Oh,
how about do you think Kep would sound good in here, like in my space? Because untreated, there's no root. Or should I get something very,
Oh, sounds fine to me. You can hear more room when Shauna talks. You can definitely hear a whole lot less room. On yours, you can hear more room.
Mine.
Well, this is like fully treated. This
right.
room.
I'm just saying, like you can hear the difference, but it doesn't sound bad.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I had a comment today on that video I showed you guys a week ago, I think, that said like for some reason this video is just taken off, relatively speaking. It's the one about bad speakers start with like a surface mounted tweeter. You know? And when I initially posted, I mean it's done well throughout, but at some point like a week or two ago it just ticked up. And so I've had so many negative people reply, just like, you don't know what you're talking about. I had one dude reply today, he was just like, F, like F you and F your opinion. I was just like, so like, here's the thing with me, right? So when somebody leaves me a negative comment, if it's implying that I'm dishonest or something like that, that will light me up. But if they just say, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, I'll actually laugh at those. So it's kind of weird, right? Like I don't take any of those personally until somebody says like, you're being dishonest or you're saying the wrong thing.
You're a liar.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to interject myself. Like, show me where you're at. Let's meet up.
so if they're articulate about their insult, it upsets you because you're like, hey, you're a little bit intelligent.
No, like if they say, I disagree and here's why, like that's cool.
Okay.
But and then like I'm likely to reply back and we'll have a conversation. But like the people like this dude today who are just like, you're effing wrong and FFF, and I'm just like, okay, bye. Like I don't even get mad. Like those don't even make me mad. I'm just like, I can't even take those kind of comments seriously. So I'm wondering, like, do you guys still get those? I haven't gotten anything like that until that video, and I must have triggered a whole lot of people who have cheap speakers with the tweeter sitting on top because I've gotten so many negative replies out of that.
Homeboys got it right on point.
Yeah.
Insults to intelligence versus character.
Right.
You know, so for me, if it's somebody who's just like, I for sure don't want this person on my channel, well, you just made my decision very easy. But it's like those in-between people where like they're kind of insulting, but I'm like, maybe they're having a bad day. Should I see what's going on? Like, am I gonna? And then I'll go in on them.
Yeah. For me, it's the it must be nice comments.
Oh god.
Well, it must be nice. These companies send you stuff. I'm like, dude, I've made over 600 YouTube videos, bro, in the past 6 years. You want to?
Where's yours?
You think that it all just popped out of nowhere? That took time.
Right.
It took time. But yeah, I mean, there was that one video that I made about the Samsung QLEDs when they first came out in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Man, I got called every name in the book, every racial slur that wasn't even me, or what you would use to describe me. I was called. There was this one guy who was so mad, all caps, 3 comments in the span of the same minute. It's like, this guy's really mad, you know. So like,
says, what's the video called so I can add more?
I'm gonna punch Ike in the face.
Just go to Aaron's channel and just click on video and then sort by most popular. It'll probably be that first one.
It's one of the it's just weird, man. It's just like, I don't know. People, I don't think I've made a video that has triggered, and I'll say so many. I mean, it's relative, right? Because I rarely get negative replies. Most of the replies that are like negative are, you know, just a disagreement, and that's fine. It's very rare that I get somebody just saying like, you know, you're this, and it's like, all right, you know. So I was just, I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny, you know, just like, what do you expect me to reply to that? Because okay, but the other ones I've started kind of going with a canned reply where people say, you know, you're doing this thing wrong or whatever. I'm just like, okay, you do it, and then just leave it at that. You do it.
I like
your turn.
You know, thank you, thank you for your feedback.
Video, actually,
have a nice day.
Yeah.
Look, Kenga says, yeah, Surface Mount owners defending their tribe. That's it. That's exactly what happened with that Samsung video.
Right.
A bunch of Samsung fanboys came to. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah.
Like, all right, dude.
You do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Huh?
See, Jonesy said it too. People replying to that video negatively are definitely owners of speakers with Surface Mounts.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I think people are saying, well, you're doing it wrong, and I'm like, no, I'm not. You just don't understand it, you know. So you do it.
My recent videos learn how to review speakers.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
I haven't seen that. Is that a good one? Should I watch that one?
I think you might like it because it has something to do with the impulse response stuff that we've been kind of talking about and experimenting with it. So you're attacking it one way, I'm trying it a different way,
right?
And I'm just messing around with it. And the thing is, another thing that this guy said in your community thread is he's like, you know, how do you have so many subscribers? He's like, you have 70,000, and your views on the videos are pretty low, right? Like, did you buy subscribers?
You can do that?
Know. I'm like, is that something you would do? I don't know. Where does this come from? Why? No. Oh, there you go. Angela says, what's up? Where is she? Boom.
Yeah, that's right.
Boom.
That's right.
I don't have to say.
It's just so much easier just to say, okay, you do it. And just like leave it at, okay, you do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to ignore it, because if they comment and then I comment, then that helps the algorithms. And that's the funny thing. They don't even realize it. By being total douchebags, they're actually helping me out. It's like, cool, thanks. You know? But like I said, I'm not complaining a whole lot. That's the one video in the past couple years that I've been doing this. That's the only time that I've seen a sudden uptick of just negative replies. And I'm like, man, people are really triggered by me saying that this is a bad way to mount a speaker or a tweeter.
Videos? Is it the biggest audiophile myth, or is it?
No, it's one like from last month or a month and a half ago. It's got an X on the tweeter.
those polarizing ones are the ones that do
I see. Avoid this
right?
junk. Gotcha.
When you when people are fighting over it back and forth, those are the ones that get the most views. That's what's interesting. See, like the stuff that so anyway, to answer this guy's question, right? The reason why some of my videos don't get a ton of views is because I'm not trying to. I don't care if it gets a lot of views, right? A lot of the times I'm just looking to do something that I think is interesting, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why sometimes I have to do hit videos, right? So that's when you get those Bose ones, or I know
hit videos.
You got to make those hits sometimes, right?
That's the thing, man. And well, so that's. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I see a lot of people making videos, and I'm like I know exactly what, like, this whole with Amir and Danny Ritchie and these other channels that are just going back and forth tit for tat, and it's negatively biased, and it's done to draw views, attention. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's all it is I want your attention. Come here. So I'm going to make this video, and I'm going to target somebody else in the audiophile community, and y'all can watch us fight. And I could easily jump in on that, but I don't want to, because I don't want it to be about negativity. But it's like, at the same time, Michael's brought this up, is how do you you want to try to draw people in, but you don't want to make it pure clickbait either. Right. So it's like, I need to make a video title, or I need to make a thumbnail that gets people's attention. But at the same time, I don't want them to watch it and feel like, well, that didn't deliver. That wasn't what I expected. Right. Or the flip side of that is, you don't want to like start them off on the wrong foot, by having a title that's this way, and then they go into it with this mindset like, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And then they reply without even, I don't know how many times I've had to say, did you watch the video? Or I've said, I can tell you didn't watch the video.
I know.
It's like, oh, you're killing me. Just watch the video. And then they'll reply back, oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I didn't. I'm like, what? Why waste your time? Just watch the video.
Because they're commenting while they're watting, right?
Oh,
yeah, probably. Or like, I get a few that are like, didn't watch the video all the way through. Did this question get answered?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I did.
Just watch it on 4x then. Just speed it up. I don't care.
Right.
My feelings aren't hurt.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, funny stuff. It's
interesting.
So, do you guys ever do that though? Like stuff that's just interesting to you, and it's not going to be hit. Like this last video, I already knew. I told this is not going to be hit, but like I want to do it.
I'm going to make a car washing video this week.
It is what it is.
What? A car washing video?
Yeah, because I got my my spotless car wash system.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to test it out and be like, yo, is this actually a spotless? Because here's the thing, I don't have time. And then I literally drive up a mountain with my SUV. That thing is filthy. So if I can just rinse it off and not have to deal with it, cool.
Yeah.
But the new car, the green car, we got the ceramic coating on that thing. So they're telling me all I need to do is just rinse it and then dry it. But now with my spotless water system, I just rinse it and let it evaporate. I don't have to do anything. Like, that's the whole idea. Like, oh, I just spend 10 minutes to wash the car. I don't have to dry it at all.
You'll have to let me know how that works out.
I'm making a video.
Yeah.
I was going to do it today, but it started raining. So I was
I'm not going to watch the video. I'm just going to ask you.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough.
Didn't watch the video. Tell me how this works. Type it all out. I thought you were going to say like you were getting a foam cannon, because I have friends who are invested.
Oh yeah, no, I got one of those too.
It's crazy. Yeah,
I got a foam cannon, I got a pressure washer, and I got a deionizer, a water deionizer. That was the most expensive part, was the deionizer. But
dude, do you remember when they had like was it Mr. Clean? They had like the attachment, and it was like a deionizer, like attachment on it. It had like the soap inside of it, and it was supposed to be like, spotless clean or something. Yeah, I don't know if they even make them anymore, but that was for a while. I bought one of those. It was like $30 or something at Walmart.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
sometimes you gotta just do something for yourself. Michael says one for you, what is it? One for me,
one for you, one for your audience or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wait, that's from that movie, right?
Michael said he got it
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Ben Affleck's like, look, you do the weird artistic film, and then you do the popcorn film. You do one for you, one for your fans.
Yeah.
It's just I've done a bunch of I've done I don't know, a couple in a row. It is what it is. That's what I was telling you guys. Hey, I'm just building. You know what I mean? I got to do some stuff to,
You gotta change it up.
You get bored doing the same thing over and over, right? If it
100%.
You get efficient. Now it's a process, and okay, I'm gonna put the speaker here.
Like all these clip speakers I have behind me. Like, I'm so sick of clip speakers at this point. Not that they sound bad. I mean, you can make them sound good.
Watch out! Yeah,
you're just sick of testing them. There's
need
so
to
many, man.
run a tube amp in between.
That's
Oh
what you need.
gosh, it's not even that. It's just like I'm tired of testing these speakers. Like I want to do something else. So then I've got some new stuff coming that'll change things up for a little while.
I got an idea for you then. So why don't you get a tube amp then? Because that's what everybody says, right? Get a tube amp. And it's gonna solve
I'm
all your
gonna need
problems.
more people to watch these videos for me to buy a tube amp, because I guarantee if I bought one, it wouldn't be good enough.
Oh yeah,
you only spent $2,000, or you gotta get the one that's $4,500.
Yeah,
Like,
you didn't change the tubes
cool.
on it.
The tube,
Those
yeah.
aren't
Did
the
you
right
change
tubes.
out to the super duper awesome tubes?
Yeah,
no,
right.
you didn't. Okay, well then you're not hearing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I want to give props real quick to Tyler here. I know we have some pin stuff, but Tyler, this guy. So, you know, some people, they comment on your videos and they're almost always on point with their comment, right?
Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to those folks where like it's always thoughtful. You know what I mean? Always like, you know, something where it like adds to the whole conversation.
Right.
And I appreciate that. So today on my video, basically what I did was I did a lot of binaural stuff, but for the reference track, I didn't just use the source track. I used the impulse response of the room to add that so that it's at least a more fair comparison, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a source track with the room included, and then we compare that versus like the binaural recording of various speakers, right? And he actually, I think he has these, right? The ones that I've been saying, hey, these, if you know, use these headphones, so we know what we're using, right? And I think he has these, and he was spot on with his assessment. It's like, really, that's what I thought, you know, exactly what he said is what I thought of the differences in sound. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I told you when you came over here, Aaron, I'm like, we review audio products, but we can't communicate. We can't like use microphones to like make you guys hear it. And so it's kind of tough. It's like, how do we do that? Right? How do we try to communicate it in a way that's understandable?
Right.
So
it's tough.
I thought it was cool that, you know, he really heard what I also heard. Did you experience that too when you did your A/B test, your ABC test? Some people like,
yeah,
that's what I heard.
I think for the most part, I think the people who used when I did the binaural, the people who used headphones, most of those aligned with, but a lot of people still used floor standing or bookshelf speakers, even when I said to use headphones, and their comments were all over the place, you know. So
yeah, yep.
What you got there?
One of the tricks I did
was asking what I was sipping on. It was like water.
Oh,
dude. I
water
had
moonshine.
I DJ'd 2 weddings this weekend. I'm beat. But
must be nice.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
DJing,
working all weekend.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and I'm raising my prices to $4,000 a day now. And like even Sasha said, she said, you earn every penny of that $4,000. Like,
that's right.
Dude, I didn't get home till like 3:30. Like the place, everyone was gone at 1 a.m. and I was there till 3:30 for an extra like 2.5 hours. Anyway, let's get. There's also something I want to talk to you guys about.
Okay. All right.
But let's try to get through some of these pin things. Bob Moore says, not a question, but built my 6x4 cloud absorbers. Noticeable improvements in dialogue. Thanks for the recommendation. Awesome. Juan's been asking this a couple of times. He just got a Denon 4700H and he wants to know which Oro settings for the up mixer, I think he was saying. I use the default, which is medium, right, Joe?
I think medium and 10.
Medium and
but
10.
You know, there are people who like to use the movie mode or the large experiment. It's just whatever you like.
Yeah, exactly what we said before. Whatever you like. Let's see.
Like
Boxcar P. This is an interesting question. Have the Denon 6700 running 716 in my room is narrow. If I go to one surround back, can I use the other one for VOG? That's a good question because I actually never thought about doing that. So technically, the 6700 will process 13 channels. So what you're saying is you take one off of the surround back and then you use it for Voice of God. In theory, it would work. I would have to like turn it on and see if it actually will do it.
What do you mean one surround back? Like a single?
Like you can go to surround back and make it one instead of two in the Denon. In yours too. You can do that with your 4700 too.
Really?
But
will it give you the option to go to Oro?
That's the question. That's the question. So basically when you're in speakers, speaker config, and you go to surround back, you press the button. It doesn't do small. It does 1 or 2, and then in ampersand, you just turn on surround back, whether it's 1 or 2. That depends on the previous screen. So,
I think what's cool about the newer Denon and Marantz stuff is that they do give you the preset 1 and preset 2 and the dedicated preamp mode, which allows you to, like, if you have external amplification, actually heard Rob H at AV Rant talking about this, and I thought it was a great idea, where he uses, like different configurations, or he recommended somebody else use a different configuration where you can use like the built-in amplifier in the X6700H, do some kind of configuration, set that to preset 1, then do a whole different configuration only using dedicated preamp mode. And, you can do all kinds of different stuff and just switch between the two. So it's pretty easy to experiment, I would say. What else we got?
We got, must be nice working 23 different jobs. Yeah. Okay. So Bob asks, anyone experienced the new Klipsch RP8000 version 2 towers yet? The version 1s are sale prices considering a purchase.
Wait 2 days and my review will be out. It'll be out on Wednesday. I've already done it. They've actually, my Patreons have had it for like a week and a half.
There it is.
Oh, you see that?
Yeah, I've got the 5000, 6000, and 8000F version 2 all in a video. I actually try to do something different this time. And if you guys watch it, I would be curious what your feedback is. I know y'all are super busy, so you don't have to watch it, obviously. But if you do, I would be curious what your feedback is. Normally, like, my videos, when I do multiple speakers at the same time, are kind of long just because that's the nature of things. But this time I try to keep it compressed. So I went 15 minutes and I was done with three speakers, which for me that's a feat, right? Like, because normally I want to talk more. But I had one guy, and I totally agree with him. He said, I like your videos, but sometimes you just say the same thing over and over. And I do it. I know I do it. The reason for me doing that is because people miss. I can't tell you the number of times that I've had to say, yeah, I said that at this point in this video. So I repeat myself to make sure that people hear it. And I've gotten into a pattern of doing it. So with this last video, I was really strict on my editing. And I went through and I was like, if I've already said it once, it's gone.
Out. Right.
Yeah. And so I'm curious to see like what people will think, if people will actually watch it all the way through this time. But we'll see.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, I find like I'm thinking like a lawyer, right? Let me make sure I say this properly. Did I cover all my bases? Did I, say this is, so they can't say, oh, well, you said this. I'm like, I said this, and I said, but,
right.
I'm trying to cover all my bases.
It's tough, man. Because you always got some person who's like, yeah, you didn't say this one thing. It's like, well, come on, man.
That's a given. That was already, if you're at this stage, all this other stuff should be.
I'm going to have a fine print. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have like a fine print in every video that just covers all the stuff that people talk about. I'm like, you know what? Just check the fine print. It says right there,
Right. There's so much like I want to say in every video that I'm just like, fuck, dude, again? Do I really need to say this again? I do not. And I remember back in the day, like listening to Sean Cannell and stuff, and they're like, give your viewers a reason why you should. I'm like, do I really need to spiel off my, lists of accreditations at the beginning of every video? Why should you listen to me? Oh, I've been doing this since the mid 90s and I put on live events every weekend and blah, blah, blah. Like, what? I just feel like a dumbass doing that, like in every video.
Like maybe every once in a while, but that's the thing. Like, you don't know when somebody new is going to watch it, and they're not going to, that's just the tough part. So maybe it
could be like my video. What is that? The channel premiere or the what?
Oh yeah, like the main page.
Welcome to my channel.
Right.
This is who I am.
Intro.
This is what I'm about. Blah blah.
I like
blah,
long
blah.
walks.
I
on
review
the beach.
audio because I work audio.
Because I am
audio.
I am audio.
I am audio.
Hey, watch is hot though.
Watch this. Oh, yes. You know what?
This
is the first time in a long time that someone's actually bought something for me. Even like, yeah.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, dude. There it is. I got this watch in the mail by sent to me from this guy right here, Mr. Joe.
That guy.
Joe and Tell got me a watch.
Yeah.
Came in Saturday. I think I wasn't able to go to the post office until today. But
I wanted to get you something that I knew that you would not buy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like all the stuff that he doesn't like, I'm just gonna buy him that one.
She's gonna buy me something I don't like that I just wouldn't buy. It's pretty cool. Sasha liked it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I told you. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, mine's still packed up. My kid liked it. I showed her when I got back. She's like, "That's cool."
What's your gift? You could do whatever you want with it, right? That's how gifts work.
We still haven't
throw it out.
unpacked.
You could. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It was just I enjoy.
I was going to eBay it real fast.
Yeah,
actually,
you could do that
curious
too.
how much it cost.
That's how giving
great.
works.
Thanks, Ange. Thanks, Ange. It was probably her idea because she's the one we know. Angela's the brain.
She's the nice one.
Yeah,
she's the nice one. I don't know about that, but she's definitely the.
Yeah, no. When I was over there, like they came home and Joe like started panicking. I was like, "What's going on here?" And he was like, "Man, I'm going to need you to hide." I was like, "Hide?" Like, yeah. Hide over here in this corner. And then she like opened up the door.
Sort of affair,
dude. I heard the dun dun dun. Like I was like, "What is going on?" And then she looked at me. And it's like my eyes shifted, like zoom focus, like they zoomed in on her eyes, and she was like. Then I heard like, I heard her go, "What are you doing in my house?" I was like, "Oh!"
In the Dune voice.
Yeah. And I opened the garage door, and then the alarm started going off, and I like ran out. It was frightening.
We're worried that the kids are just gonna, attack you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
You think I talk a lot? Just wait.
Your kids are cool, man. Your wife was mean, but your kids were cool to me.
No.
Your wife came in, she's like, "We got ice cream and some bologna." She started throwing bologna at me, like hit me in the face with bologna. I was like, "What the heck is going on here?"
OSCAR. You know what that spells, Aaron?
Oscar Mayer.
Aaron's talking to one of my kids, like, "How old are you?" She's like, 5. He's like, "What? 4?" She's like, "No, 5. 3? No, 5."
She's like, "This guy's stupid."
I see.
This guy's an idiot.
But yeah, I enjoy spending time with you guys. So that's just
I appreciate it, man.
Dudes, right?
I thought that was cool.
So I appreciate you guys, and you guys awesome, too, out there, the ones in the comments. I appreciate you guys spending time hanging out with us. You know, it means a lot.
So here's a situation that came up. There's one venue that I DJ weddings at, where they won't allow subwoofers. Okay. So I put that up already. That's not a scary you one. Yeah.
So they won't allow what?
Subwoofers. They don't allow subwoofers. Yeah. It's a noise ordinance thing, right?
Okay.
So if you were to look at this, would you say this is a subwoofer?
No, come on, just cover that in a little blanket.
I would.
That's a blanket.
Okay.
Yeah. Put a blanket. It's just
it's not. And I'll and I told them, I'm like, look, it's not a subwoofer. If you go to the website, what does it say? It says it's a 2-way portable array. Does it say subwoofer?
Okay, how about this? How low does that go?
Okay, so here's the real thing is there's this other DJ that wants to bring his subwoofers. And he can't because this place doesn't allow subwoofers. Now, previously, I never brought a subwoofer to that location because it's too small for a subwoofer. And so with this new setup, it's an all-in-one. It's a speaker that's just separated. So,
it's a speaker.
So the other DJ kept getting into the event manager's ear, talking about, like, no, that's a subwoofer.
Oh, what?
He's using subwoofers.
Like that? Huh? Okay.
Yeah, because he's all salty about it. So, so I ended up on Saturday's wedding, they wanted to do we were actually ahead of time, and so we did a 2-hour cocktail hour. So in that 2-hour cocktail hour, boom, here's my email telling this
got
guy,
the frequency response.
Oh yeah,
look at that.
Yeah.
40, 50, 45.
So this is my new one. This is the other DJ stuff. This is my old speaker. And then here's what the subwoofer does. Look, as you can see, my speaker has a similar response to the other 2-way speakers. And both of the subwoofers listed don't go over 120 hertz. They're made for low frequency, as well. And then look at this. Even get max SPL. Look at this. My speakers are the lowest out of all of them. My new ones.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about noise ordinance, my speakers are better. Better than the other guys as far as keeping the noise down. Another couple of things is that the woofer sits on the floor and the top covering mids and highs are mounted on a pole. There is also no way to store the top in the bottom of like a standard speaker, whereas like my new ones, you take the top off, it's goes right into the woofer part, meaning it's one speaker. And so we've been going back and forth about this for like a couple of weeks. And then here's I gave them like all the links so they can see for themselves. And then specifications, you know, like, here, you guys want to see? This is all that stuff. So
what ended up happening?
He said, what did he say in this? He said, thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the clarification. See you tonight.
He says too much.
It.
Too much.
Whatever you say.
Yeah. Angela, yes. Actually, that was my wife's idea when, you know, because all this information, and she's like, my speakers are the quietest out of the bunch. She's like, bold that.
That's it.
Bold that. Because like they're gonna be like, what does all this nonsense mean?
Yeah.
But DJ Salty Stitch, yeah, dude, he's super salty. He's super salty that he can't use his subwoofers. He has 10s, right? That his tops are 10-inch woofers. I'm like, dude, just get rid of the 10s and get 12s as your tops, and then you wouldn't need to bring a subwoofer with you. But you know, they're not like me. They're not like really into buying new equipment and stuff. So I guess that's yeah.
Tell them to get some rels. I mean, those aren't real subs.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, like, I even said, like, look, why don't you just get some of these? Just get what I have.
They're real subs. I just wanted to say something because Chana has some rels. So. Don't get crazy over there.
So my thought process is, okay, how do I tell a person that isn't into audio that this thing that looks like a subwoofer and a top speaker isn't a subwoofer and a top speaker? That was my goal. So like during that cocktail hour while I was running, they wanted a bunch of new modern country music, so I was playing that playlist, and I'm just sitting there typing. I'm like, how do I get this?
You have a late night mode, you know what I mean? Like you have a button.
That's right.
I just press that, it reduces the bass, and then we're done.
He also asked, he's like, maybe we can, you know, get a decibel meter and keep an eye on, you know, that. I was like, oh, perfect. I have one on my cell phone. I will keep an eye out. And then Sunday was the day, you know, I was there yesterday. And so like at 9, you know, music off at 10 o'clock, 9:30, I started like dialing back the master level, you know, to where the people didn't know what was happening. My guests didn't know.
They were probably deaf by that point anyway. So
they were definitely drunk, dude. They were taking shots at like 5 o'clock, like tequila shots. I'm like, you know, I'm texting my wife. I'm like, oh, we're done with the ceremony. We're getting into cocktail hour. She's like, it's 5 o'clock and they're just getting drunk. I'm like, yeah, it's a wedding. Like, what are you? It's a wedding on a Sunday. Of course, they're taking shots at 5 o'clock.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they were a fun group. Coincidentally, majority of them from San Diego. So I'm like, hey, I'm going down there to DJ.
Okay.
You guys should come out. Yeah,
SD.
but so that was the audio thing that I was dealing with over the weekend, because it's a big deal, because then they're like, well, you can't bring these speakers, and I just spent $3,000 on that pair of speakers. I'm not gonna buy some other white conventional speakers you know, just for that venue.
Well, you also want it to sound good, right? So
yeah, and then even the manager's like, dude, these new speakers you have, they sounded great. He's like, it's clear, I can hear, you know, and that's all because of the you know, column array,
the
you know,
whole
design
array thing, right?
Yeah. So
that would have been too much if he would have went into line array and how that changes based on distance.
Two-way speaker. That was another thing. I'm like, two-way column array. How about I just say it's a two-way speaker, just like the others that I used to use and that the other guy has. Two-way speakers. So
we have a question we didn't get to from Samuel Hooks.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
We got that right here.
It is Roost Sound P125 amplifier in mono mode good for SVS Ultra Tower. Do you have stats on the
Roost Sound P125 amplifier in mono mode good for SVS Ultra Tower? Well, have any of the SVS products that you've ever reviewed, Aaron, been like extremely low sensitivity or hard to
I've only tested one of their center channel speakers, and it was medium sensitivity, if I had to say. So it probably should be fine. I think it would depend on, you know, the dude's room, how far back he is from the speakers, that kind of thing. What dash install?
I'm just like, Roost Sound is just or a mono mode.
Never heard of that brand, Roost Sound.
Like a bridged mono, is that what he's talking about? Because it's a 2-channel amplifier.
Okay, 2-channel and
125 watts per channel into 4 ohms, 80 watts into 8 ohms. So it would be the 80 watt number for the what is it for the SVS? And yeah, stereo bridge mono. So you're putting double the wattage. So you're probably getting 160 watts into the one speaker.
Is it though? Like if you hit specifications, what is
here
the wattage?
in bridge mode, single 8 ohm load, 250 watts.
So I'm assuming you want to get like 2 of those.
I think that's what the idea is.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't know that amp specifically if it's good, if it's not, but assuming it's decent, I don't see anything
250 watts bridged. I'd say that's enough.
Well, I'd say it might be a little too much if it's real, right? If that's real wattage, you better be a little careful, right?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I have 250 watts per channel going into 8 ohm speakers. It's overkill. 100% overkill.
You could blow out your speakers if you wanted to.
Yeah. The Ultra Tower is 88 dB sensitive, which means it's not sensitive at all. Well, not at all, but I mean, it's not that. It's not like Andrew Jones 85. dB sensitive, but it's also not like Klipsch 92. Remember, to go up 3 dB, you got to double the power.
Well, I think that's a new video for you, Aaron.
There you go.
What's the real average sensitivity of speaker? What's low? What's
85
medium?
to 87. High? Oh, okay.
Okay, what's low?
I'd say 80 to 85 would be low. Well, 80, maybe 86 or 87. Maybe like 86, 87 to 91 would be medium, and then 91 plus would be high. For home theater, I think those are probably reasonable numbers.
And you could argue realistically, 91 and up, like when you start getting the high sensitivity, you can just tell by looking at the speaker, right? Like it's probably going to be a big speaker. It's not going to be a little.
It's going to be a Klipsch. Right? Got a big ass horn.
Big old speaker. Big old woofer that doesn't play very deep, right?
Nope. Yep. You got to turn the bass up, which is fine. Just
right.
Turn the little knob and turn it up.
Remix.
But what is it? The Cornwall 4 that I had in here was 106 dB sensitive. So loud. So loud.
I'd take 6 or 9 dB off of that off the top with Klipsch.
Okay, so
6, so 100 dB sensitive.
That's still crazy.
Yeah, it's still very
because their spec, they rate, at least with their newer stuff, they're rating in wall 2 pi. So in wall, or not in wall, in room 2 pi. So 2 pi's add 6 dB, and then in room is like add 3 to 6 dB, depending on how wide the radiation is. So you're anywhere from 6 to 9 dB with over anechoic, right? Like free field measurement. Klipsch is always at least 6 dB higher than anything else in their spec, because their spec is different, right? So it's very misleading. But at least they put an asterisk next to it. Yeah, 100. That's for home audio. Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Somebody got so mad.
Reverend Slim that's our dude. Best oral setting is off. Hey, speaking of off, Aaron, how did you like 007 in Atmos? I turned off all the speakers and then I played Atmos. Does it sound realistic? Like those height effects in that.
In Atmos? No.
Yeah, remember when
there's nothing coming from the height speakers at all. Joe showed me.
Completely quiet.
Is that what triggered yours and triggered, maybe not the right word, but started yours and Gene's back and forth? Or was that in between one of those when you and Gene were like,
I use that as
Atmos,
an example of one because I was so amazed that it didn't have anything going on up there.
It is very surprising when it clearly should, because it's out of the screen, right? Like, so it clearly should have something going on out there.
And you're in an enclosed space. Right, or like the actor was,
So
anyway, I get it if you're in a wide open space, clearing and you're firing a gun. Yes, there's probably not much happening from the height channels, but when you're inside a place that's got a bunch of echo, like you should be hearing that.
Disappointing. I think it's just disappointing. That's all it is. I'm not saying that it's not capable. I'm sure if they took the time, they could make that probably sound really awesome in native Atmos. They just didn't. So that's what it is.
Very odd.
And
I watched Ambulance, by the way. Chana. I watched it on the plane, so I mean the sound was like but I like the movie.
Did you get what I was saying with the new
with the drone stuff?
FPV drone stuff?
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
So cool.
There was one in particular. I'm trying to remember like when it went. I was trying to think like, is this real? And I think it was a real shot, but I think they timed it like it flew underneath a car that was flipping over or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
I was like,
the
wow,
car flipped over. Like,
and the drone just kept going.
Yeah,
I was like,
so
wow.
Cool.
That's crazy.
So cool.
Because that's not something you mess up. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if you crush the drone? You're not. How many times are you gonna flip that same car over?
Yeah,
You're right.
They
like,
have a budget for that.
But I mean, it's saying like at some point that's $10,000, $20,000 like every single time they had to go. So I thought that was cool.
The one shot that really gets it for me is the one where the drone flies down City Hall.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
and then to the and like they jailed action and all the actors are doing their thing and the drone's coming down and then they switch to a different angle of that scene down there. I was just like, man, that's so creative. Like I loved it.
That was cool. That was a good movie.
We're seeing more of this new technology coming into the filmmaking process, so it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
What else we got? Any other questions that
nobody has questions? Have you guys seen the Terminal List? Have y'all watched that on Amazon?
Was talking about wanting to see that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. I've got like 1.5 episodes left. It's pretty good.
See ya GB.
Holla.
1963.
You know what? There's some. Remember how when Wilfried was here, and we were talking about the the Phantom Center, the left and right, and that the Phantom Center doesn't work vertically, right? Because we don't have an ear on our top of our head in the bottom, right? Although if you were to do this, then the Phantom Center would work.
Okay.
So there's a couple of music production channels that I've watched periodically that are like going into Atmos mixing rooms, and he's just like, so just like we have a Phantom Center here, we have a Phantom Center in between these two verticals. No, sorry, bro, you don't, unless you tilt your head to the side. And I always want to like comment, but then they're gonna be like, oh no, you're just hating on Atmos. No, I'm not. Like it's just not possible. And he's like going to all the speakers. He's like, there's a Phantom Center there, Phantom Center here, Phantom Center. Like, dude, unless you have an ear on the top of your head, you're not going to notice any of that. So it's funny the amount of like now that more production people are trying to get into Atmos, like sometimes they don't know half the stuff that you.
It kind of makes sense though. Like in your mind, it makes sense why somebody would think like, well, if it's a Phantom Center going left to right, then here to here, that's going to create some kind of phantom image.
Sound, right.
I think the difference though is that the change moving upward is more like a change in tonality, right? It just once you start moving the sound up way too high, then you start getting the change is way too much, change in tonality, and the delay difference is, starting to get too high. So I don't think it works the same as how Phantom Centers work.
Right. Unless you're growing ears in different parts of your body.
Yeah. I don't even know that it works that well behind our head. I think it's just way worse, right? Because our ears are facing this way.
Yeah, because we're supposed to hear something that's coming like from our 180 degree plane in front.
So
did y'all see that video that Getting Smarter Every Day did? I think maybe one of you guys had mentioned it. I can't remember.
Okay. Which one?
Oh, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm trying to remember who mentioned that to me then. Maybe it was Michael, or maybe it wasn't anybody here. He does a thing about like how your hearing works, like, to the side of you, but doesn't work great up and down. Like, and so like he blindfolds, I think maybe his son or his nephew or something. And then like him and his daughter start going around the kid, like making noises and stuff.
No way.
And then they start like the kids like trying to detect where it comes from. And then he talks about like you can hear it like on this plane, up here, but like when it's behind you or below you, you can't hear it that well. It's pretty cool. I'll try to find the link for that real fast while I'm thinking about it.
It's so Amar Bose did that exact same experiment or something similar where he's dangling keys in front of somebody, right? He tells him close your eyes, right? And then basically he wants to know if you can tell the difference if the keys are in front of you here versus above you. And the whole idea was it's a relative change in sound. So you can tell if he dangles it down here and then moves it up, right? Because you hear the change in sound. But if he starts off just dangling it up high, well, you don't have a point of reference. So people don't know if that's in front or, right in front of them or above them.
Right.
Because they don't know the difference in tonality. So that's kind of interesting. Tyler has a question. Is there a collab video to look out for Joe and Aaron? No, Aaron had to he ducked out like in an hour, so we didn't get to do any.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, well,
cool
Angela was there staring him down.
She was like, "Get out of my house!"
Like, "I'm out of here fast."
Oh well, yeah. Well, we had family coming over too. So
what do you call it? The best was shopping for stuff with Joe the other day.
Dude, I would love to do
that
more
was like a
fun
year or
videos
two
like
ago.
What video should we do? How about that? What video would you like Aaron and I to do?
Yeah,
He's
there
got
you go.
the technical stuff on point. I'm more like I can understand the technical stuff enough to get me into some trouble, and I try to simplify it for the folks who I know don't understand what's going on with that. So I don't know what kind of video you would like for us to do. I don't know. Let us know. Give us some ideas.
Yeah.
I'm always down to work with Aaron or Chana. I think it's fun. Like those types of videos are fun.
Yeah. So 2 questions. I'm gonna try to come back to the other one because I know the other one may take a little bit of time. I was thinking last week, so I haven't reached out to this fellow yet. I'm not gonna mention him right now, but I thought about seeing if you, Joe, me, and maybe a couple other YouTube guys with some pretty big following, so they'll probably say no, would be interested in having like a discussion about, how we review speakers and the things we listen for, and maybe things we look for measurements, and the other guys don't do measurements at all. Okay. So that may be a hint. And I know the other 2 guys may think that like I'm trying to piggyback off of them. So I'm just going to say, hey, look, I don't care what channel we do it on. We can set it up as a fundraiser, straight up like a live stream for like an hour, just because I think it would be cool for the community to see people with different mindsets get together and talk about stuff rather than have this whole stupid subjective versus objective thing. Like, I don't think that's doing any good, and I worry about that.
Yeah.
So if you would be up for it sometime, I thought that might be kind of fun to do. I don't want to make it take up too much of your time.
If it's somebody that I for sure don't like, then it's gonna be hard for me to pretend like I don't.
It's not that.
Like people.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I'm pretty honest. I'll probably be like, I might say a little something and be like, hey, I don't really like you, but let's go.
No, I don't. I think this one of the guys I have in mind. I think you like, and I think you watch his videos. But
okay, all right.
So that's just an idea.
I think it's a good idea. And actually, I went over to a guy's house last week who had the system that was like probably like 100 G's, right?
Wow.
100 G's worth of stuff, super expensive.
You heard
everything,
angels,
right?
You heard angels.
Well, kind of a funny thing was like we were listening. I'm like, hey, I think the left and right are switched, right? So I thought that was kind of funny because it's a super expensive system, funny. And then something like simple, right? But anyway, I told him, hey, those, he had some tube preamps, and I said, look, that those cause distortion, right? But who cares? Who cares? Like, let's say, okay, that makes it measure worse, right? But do you like the sound? Did it make it? Do you enjoy it more? He's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, then that's all that matters, right? You enjoy it. If you know that it's making it worse, but you don't care because you like that.
Do you like it? Yeah.
Then that's all that matters at the end of the day,
really
right?
I agree.
I think it's just what I don't like though is if the customer is being tricked, right? Yeah. If they don't say that, if they don't say, hey, this is exactly what it does, if they're making claims that are untrue, that's when I have a little bit of an issue, because you're tricking people.
Yeah, I agree, man. There's definitely people who I wouldn't want to collaborate at all. But the guys, obviously, the guys that I would want to maybe chat with would be somebody interesting, I think, for the community to. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't want to name names because if I contact them in private, I don't want to put them on blast, and then people know that they said no.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm down. I'm down.
I'll mention it to you. I'll give you a heads up before I reach out to them. But
sure. What else? What else we got right here?
There's a question from Rich Lickle Poor Boy.
Rich Lickle Poor Boy.
Is that right? Am I reading that right? Okay. Can speakers placed in the height position play as Atmos speakers? Yeah. That's what I do. That's I have So yes, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
If you think those $5,000 power cables improve your sound, good for you. Just don't look down at me for not following suit. There you go, homeboy.
Yeah, you know what? This guy did have some expensive cables, probably like $4,000 worth of cables, right?
Oh, I took some pictures of some crazy looking cables to send you guys.
I said, hey, look, I don't think that those make a difference as long as it doesn't make it sound worse. But what is cool about them is I wouldn't want to hide them because they actually look cool enough where you're kind of displaying them, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you got that type of money and you have even your cables can be displayed.
I mean, at that point,
I'm
like art.
that.
Yeah, I mean, some people buy speakers because they look nice. You know, they may not even sound that great.
That's
so
cool
it
too.
just depends on what you want, man. I agree with you that as long as you kind of stick to the truth, then everything else is just up for grabs.
Yeah.
Question for Aaron. Aaron, I picked up months ago the Arendal 1961 monitors, and they sound great, but was thinking of upgrading to the towers, but didn't know that they tilt slightly back. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so those towers are really short, like really short. When you sit down, you will be at least, I mean, if you're normal height in a chair, I would say you're going to be at least a foot above that tweeter, at least a foot above that tweeter. So that's the reason that they're angled back, is so they'll hit your ears, you know, at the right angle. So I wouldn't worry about them being tilted. They're tilted that way for a reason. Unless you sit on the floor. That actually is probably the only way that the tweeters would be in line with your ears, is if you literally sit on the floor and you don't
like
sit in a chair.
Short, like you can sit on the floor and still kind of be within
Dude, I need to
range.
Yeah, I need to see if I can find a picture of that with me standing up next to him. Let me go find that while you AV Summit. Somebody asked me about that recently, Joe. Are you still doing that? Is that still going to happen this year?
I'm planning on it. There's a lot of stuff I need to catch up with. But I kind of want to do it all in one. So I'm not trying to be mysterious here, but you guys have seen me kind of talk about AV Masterclass, right? So I want to kind of do a tie-in with stuff like that because I do want it to be more educational. And so before I do that, I need to work out a few things on that site, maybe add some more content, make it look decent, make it look presentable, all these different things. But that's why I said I'm in a building phase, right? So right now it seems like, oh man, he's not doing anything. Like I'm doing something. It's just you won't see it right away until it's done. You're like, oh, I get it. He's building this thing. So some stuff takes time. And the other thing is that, you know, we have M-Wave, right? So M-Wave, starting, I don't know the exact date, but I know Michael's heading over there this tomorrow to
weekend,
do some stuff.
right?
It's this weekend, yeah.
And so, you know, if there's physical events that are happening, and also Audio Advice Live.
Yeah, that's next month.
That's in August, yeah.
Okay. So all these things that are coming up, I'm like, you know, I don't want to interfere with those. You know what I mean? Like if there's an event coming up, you don't want to do it around the same time. So I think I'm just trying to figure out the right time to do it, where companies are like, hey, you know what? Is there anything going on? Then I'll say, yeah. Okay. So anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw it up while you were talking. I did it by accident. I was just showing. This is the 1961 tower. I'm like 5'10", 5'11", like average height, I guess.
Why do you think I thought you were going to be super tall? Look at that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, the tweeter is midway on my thigh. So you can imagine when you sit down, they're super short. Yeah. Anyway,
and that's the light is extended to max right
Ike
there,
said the height discouraged me from buying the Arendal towers too. So
yeah. The Audio Advice Live, that'll be fun. If anybody is in that area, y'all should go and check it out. It'll be good.
I totally was. They asked me to be on their panel, but I'm booked for a wedding.
Yeah,
I'm booked. Oh well,
I saw that.
Poor Boy says, I mean, height speakers which are placed high above over the front speakers. That's actually where you would want them. You want that second quadraphonic layer right above. So yeah, Poor Boy. That's it.
I know some people would disagree and say, hey, no, that's not the proper Atmos setup. So I think, you know, a good way to say it is if you're trying to adhere to specifically Atmos specs, then no. I don't know that that's going to be within those specs. If you're like me and, you know, I want to be able to use all the different formats, I think that it's the best compromise that I've found where, you know, I'm using Oro Upmixer most of the time, right? So for me, it makes sense to have it in a setup where I have front heights on the wall and rear heights, right, above my rear surrounds, because it allows me to use all the formats. And maybe it's a compromised when I'm using native Atmos. Maybe it is a compromised thing, but I use that less than I use Oro. So it makes sense for me. But if you're planning on using Atmos all the time, right, just never changing it from Atmos, you know, do it according to their spec. So
yeah.
That's it. What else we got here? Real quick, if you want to listen to our audio only version of the podcast, anchor.fm/daily hi-fi. Also, after show, patreon.com/daily hi-fi. It's a way that you guys can support us, support Tim making the daily videos that you guys see. And yeah, we get to hang out. Yeah, we just have a good time back there talking about all kinds of stuff. We get to know you guys, and you know, I think we build real friendships, and I think that that's what's super cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just don't expect Joe to buy you a watch.
No, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you got to be part of Daily Hi-Fi crew for that.
Oh. I would like to upgrade my subwoofers. What is this? My fronts are Klipsch 8000F and Klipsch 504C. My current subs are Yamaha SW100. Budget for 2 is under $2,000.
He wants to upgrade his subwoofers.
Mm-hmm.
Current
he wants to get 2 of them, and he only wants to spend $2,000.
Yeah, so if that's a hard limit, right? So now you're saying, okay, you want to spend $1,000 on each sub, right?
Yeah.
Okay. $1,000.
What are we talking? Yeah. PB 2000 Pro.
Is that under 1,000? I know the PB 1000 Pro.
Boom! It's 1,099.
Over.
Yeah, it's a little bit over. So if you can stretch that budget, but but look at this. Why go dual? Look, if you go dual, it's only 100. You save $100. So it's only it's 2,100 if you buy both at the same time.
I can get with that.
So
I can get with that.
Depending on the size of your room, like cubic footage, I have the PB 1000 here in an 1,140 cubic foot room, and it's absolute overkill.
So 2 of those.
2, yeah, no, 1,000 Pros are probably, depending on how big their space is. They got tower Klipsch towers. Maybe they have a bigger room.
SB, you can go SB.
Yeah, those 8000F are big speakers, man.
Yeah.
So Croson says dual 15 shoe subs. I don't know what the price on those are, but a lot of people seem to like those.
What about like a Parts Express kit? Like, I mean, it would be unfinished, but they may have, I haven't looked in a while, but they may have some kind of kit options that are available.
Yeah, they always used to have like those Ultimax.
Yeah.
It's if you're into that, right? What else? Right. What are you gonna need? You're gonna need glue. You're gonna need
glue. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you said that, Aaron, I like totally checked out, man. I'm like, I'm not putting shit together.
That's
like,
a hard no. Well, are those
some people like doing
it? I don't know. Some of them, I think you have to get amplifiers too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Some of them will have like a plate amp that comes with it. I want to say I saw one that has like an external amp. But yeah, right. I mean, that's part of the equation too, is you have to figure that out. Well, I don't know that DIY is really, I hate to say it, I'm not sure that DIY is worth it much anymore these days. I mean, it seems like DIY is getting more expensive, you know, because parts across the board are going up.
Shipping.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But is it if you wanted like a big speaker, you still got to go DIY like 24
I think
inch
you would.
sub.
Yeah, I think you would have to.
Maybe you get a little more bang for your buck though, because if you can get a good deal on an amp, and now let's say if you're getting a 15-inch sub versus a 12, well, you're probably going to get more output.
Yeah, you could shop for a used amp, you know, something like that, like a Pro Sound amp, stick it in a closet somewhere.
But if you don't have design skills, that thing's gonna look
bootylicious.
What do they recommend? They use that paint that looks all like
with that tacky type looking paint, like the
bumpy one.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of what you call it now. It makes me think of like bed liner though, is what it looks like.
It just covers up the mistakes, right? So if you have some that are a little uneven, you didn't glue it right, just paint it.
Just paint it with that.
It's like the wall, right?
It looks like stucco. That's what it makes me think of. Yeah, it looks like stucco.
There you go, Tim. No.
Yeah, that's it.
Duratex. Yeah, there you go. Or you could. What else can you do? I mean, you can do a nice gloss finish, but it'll take a long time. I've done it myself.
Oh man, it
takes a long time.
I hate painting MDF. Like I hate it.
Oh, so many coats.
So many coats. Yeah, I did see where Justin Gardner was doing the DIY audio guy. I saw where he had reviewed I think it was the C notes, because I went back and watched some of the old Parts Express knockdown kit reviews, and he was talking about something that you put on like to seal the MDF before you paint it. I was like, oh, I didn't know I didn't know it was a thing. So I learned
what I
something from that
needed.
video. I think that was his video.
That's what I needed because the MDF just sucks up the paint.
Yeah. That's what I believe it was one of his videos, older video. But
yeah. And I don't have the patience. You got to wait the whole a whole day for it to dry properly and then do the next one. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
I always just kind of paint mine black with spray paint and then call it a day. Stick it
Is that how
somewhere?
Or just you put yours behind the wall.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I do.
Yeah. Okay, so one more recommendation as far as the subs is, I know that the dude who's commenting on yours is gonna say, well, your channel sponsor is Monoprice, so of course you're gonna recommend them. So I'm how about this? I'm not gonna recommend them. Aaron, would you say if somebody's trying to get some subwoofers, that what are some other alternatives aside from SVS and aside from DIY?
Monoprice. I mean, those are kind of easy, right? Because they do what they say they do, right? So they do what they say they're going to. Hey, Monoprice says it does this, and this is what it costs. You know what you're getting for the price. Boom, you're done. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to go like RSL Speedwoofer.
Oh yeah, I haven't tested those. I want to test those.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think I'm done with testing subwoofers, man. The last time, I'm not kidding. The last time I tested a subwoofer, I left it running outside. It was doing its tone burst testing, so it's like. And I do multiple averages. So it doesn't do just one tone burst. It does like 16 or something. And then it averages it out. That way it knocks the noise floor down and I get better results, like more accurate results at very low frequencies when there's not a lot of output. But because it's doing that, I'll just let it run. And I forgot about it. And my neighbor from next door came over. He's like, you're not planning on running that all night, are you? It was like 8 o'clock. I was like, no. So I think I'm done after that, man.
You're like, oops.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was like, that's my bad, man. He's like, oh, it's okay. I was like, still, I feel bad.
Yeah. So here we go. So everybody's saying Monoprice. I'm putting up Rhythmic. So I'll put up.
Rhythmic's another one. Yeah.
I haven't tried those, but I like the idea of the servo tech. I haven't tried it, but yeah.
I've actually tested a Rhythmic subwoofer a long time ago, and it was like the FG12 or something like that. I don't recall, but that was a good one, and you got a lot of stuff.
Would you say the servo tech
is
worth it versus like a strong amp?
I could not tell you. I think the only way to accurately do that is to really do some like true blind listening tests with the servo enabled and the servo disabled. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you're going to know any other way. I mean, you could test it for the distortion components, but my guess is that if it's already a good linear stroke to the subwoofer, it's probably not going to have a lot of distortion anyway. That's right.
Well, what would be the measurement for that? Nothing to do with group delay or anything like that. Like, what would be the measurement that shows you?
That's going to shoot up pretty high anyway, I would think, if it's got DSP built into it. Harmonic distortion would help. IMD would be another one. Intermodulated distortion would be another one. So, like the CEA 2010 data, that's all based on harmonic distortion profiles. So it plays like the fundamental tone of 20 hertz, and then it looks at every fundamental. And depending on where that fundamental is in terms of output, it says there's a threshold associated with each of those fundamentals or with each of those harmonics, right? So if it plays 20 hertz as the fundamental, the first harmonic would be 40 hertz. Well, if 40 hertz is above this threshold of, let's say, 20 decibels, relative to the initial fundamental, then it's going to fail that test. And then it just goes down the line. It goes out to like 9 or 11 harmonics, so 9 times 20, 180?
That's just because you don't understand what fast bass is about.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You knew about fast musical bass.
That makes the fast musical bass.
Then you would want to get these rails.
You would have to get the rail that are on sale, 20% off right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are going to send me like that. I can't even remember what it was now.
Yeah, they
had a new one. I can't remember what he said it was.
It's HT15.
I would give them props if they sent me something, because I've said so many kind of underhand comments about them.
Oh, I'm not expecting much at all.
If they were to send me something, I'd be, I'd give them props just for doing that.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to decide now because I forgot about it. Do I want to ask them again? Because the dude was like, "Oh, let me get back to you." He actually asked me a question. I think I forgot to.
Who, Andrew?
Technical Andrew. Question: does a 12-inch subwoofer move back and forth less than a 10-inch sub to produce 20 hertz?
No. 20 hertz is 20 hertz. That's a cycle.
I'm not sure
what
about
he's saying. Excursion.
Distance, in what way?
Like excursion back and forth. Does it move more or less? The 12-inch versus the 10-inch.
Well, that's SPL. right? That's not frequency. That's like the output capability of that frequency.
I think to simplify it, if you count every time, like if you had a slow motion camera, right, and you counted how many times per second.
Yep.
It moved forward and backward. Is it forward or forward and backward?
I think it would be a full cycle, right?
So
Yeah,
forward and backward.
Yeah.
Boop, boop. Okay, if you counted that, then it would be the same number for both.
Right. Because that's right. Like hertz is 1 per second. Frequency is 1 per second. This number of times per second.
For the same SPL, you would expect the 10-inch to have to move further. Would that be right? In order to produce the same SPL?
Yeah.
More excursion, more air moved?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Because its roll-off point is probably going to be higher up in frequency. So it's going to have less output. So in order to have the same amount of output, it's got to move more air.
Just think about it like a little, imagine trying to fan yourself with like a small piece of cardboard, right? And if you have a huge piece of cardboard, you don't have to move that very much to move all kinds of air, right?
Yep.
Similar.
So I'm looking through this email. He says they've got 4 more, and this was back in June 23rd. He said they got 4 more rail subs coming out in the next number of months. Given the open floor plan of your layout, so my living room is what I told him about. Would you mind sending over some photos that roughly show a 360-degree view of the space? I'm like, that's why I didn't reply, because I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Why don't you just send me the biggest ones you got?
They have some big ones.
Well, I've got big ones too. As long as they're not sending HDF mounted or freaking subwoofers like Hobie does, break my back trying to get them out of the box.
They're not that heavy. Like even the 15-inch ones aren't that heavy.
Good.
I'm watching y'all asking for some graphs from Aaron. Joe, he's like, what's up? There's no graphs. He needs to see a graph. Can we see a graph at least?
Well, you have to be a Patreon if you want to see a graph. Boom. Hold on. Let me go find a graph. I'll just pull up one. Oh, look, here's a clip center channel speaker.
All right, there we go.
Here, we'll do that. Oh, no, what is that? Go away. Share screen. Is that it? That's it. You don't want to see that. Don't allow that. Nope. What the heck? Oh my God, go away.
Here, until you're ready. Are you ready now?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm ready.
You go.
Look, there's a clip. This is Eclipse 404C2. So newest ones. Hey, cheap plug. If you want to know why center channels suck, this is the video you go watch. I explain it all. Has everything you need to know about center channels. Look,
how do you do that face real quick before you go? Like
this one.
What are you thinking when you do that face?
I gotta take a shit.
I'm like, I don't know. That's not my poopy face. My poopy face. It depends. There's different levels of my poopy face. There's like, there's like the was that what I think it was?
Is that just sharp?
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, they say, what did I just say? Hold on. 94 dB sensitivity. That's not true. I mean, for what they say it is, sure it is. It's like 87 to 88. Even if you look at the highest point in their frequency response, it's not even 94 dB. So if you just take an average, it's like, I'd say maybe 88, something like that on average.
There's a center probably sealed or what?
This one's ported.
What?
Yeah, this one's ported. I think.
So small or
hold on,
what's up with the base?
404. Let me look.
What's up with the base right there?
Cause if it's ported, that back should be going to the back. Let me check. Eclipse 404 C2. Let me look. I thought they were all ported though.
You could bring those to that venue right there.
Voice.
Holla, True Voice.
See ya.
Tell the other guys we said what's up.
Hold up.
No. Show me the picture. Oh no, this one is sealed. Okay. The other ones are ported.
I let you hear this, right?
Boom,
those little mono price boombox.
Mono price.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it.
Funny little thing, right? I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool. You're like LL Cool J, walking with a panther.
Yeah, I sent Hobie a picture of me like this. He's like, "That's dangerous, man. If you don't do it, don't play it loud like that. You could hurt your ears."
Like, thanks, dude.
Yeah,
got
he
it.
Said I might. He said actually what he said was, I might have to put a disclaimer to tell people to not do that. Like,
You might have to.
are you serious? Like, people will do that and then sue you?
Because that's what they used to do. You know, you look back at those
That's what I thought.
streets of New York, people walking around with their boom boxes in the 80s.
Yeah. Right. Well, we're at what?
Hour and a half.
Yeah. So did he get his fix as far as the
Yeah.
graphs? You got his graph fix?
He said thanks.
All right. Cool.
So I think that does it.
Cool. Well, yeah, man. It was good meeting you in person.
Yeah, likewise.
I wish we had a little more time
I'm glad we didn't.
to hang out and just I don't know. Make a silly video.
Angela wouldn't have allowed that.
That was fun.
No.
She was on veto.
She was like, "Get out of my house, loser."
What did you do here?
Yeah.
Joe hears them at the door. Quick, Aaron, hide.
Hide.
Give me
They
my
don't
underwear
like
back.
you. Oh, gross. Oh. Oh.
God,
Man.
that was funny. I told Aaron to hide. Like you guys were doing something super shady.
Go hide.
Hey, I
You're not supposed to be here.
I offered you to use the bidet.
The
He did. He said
I
he hadn't
really
had
did.
it fixed up yet. So the go hide thing for me kind of goes back to a real story. I had a friend in junior high, and his mom wouldn't allow. Like his mom worked until like 5 or 6, and his mom wouldn't allow him to have friends over until she got home. But
Mhm.
like after school, I would walk through the woods and I'd go to his house and we played Nintendo. And when she would come home, like the garage door would open and I'd have to split out the back door because he would get in trouble.
Oh, so you
So for real, like I would have to leave. And then I would have to wait like 5 or 10 minutes and then come back and knock on the door. like I hadn't been there already playing Zelda, you know? Like,
oh man, that's hilarious.
Yep. Rob
And
Young.
Do you think did she fall for it or did she let you think that she
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
I was
That's
like,
the
there
question,
goes that
right?
kid running through the woods again.
like, oh my
Yeah.
god, let's watch
Right.
him. Watch him. Look at him. Look
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah,
Look
look
at
at
him
him
over
go.
there. Look at him.
Yeah, I don't
you
know, man.
We used to do some stupid stuff like in junior high, and like we'd have like we're staying over at one of our friends' houses, and all of a sudden we're like, hey, let's go to the elementary school, and then jump on the roofs and we'd go run and jump from rooftop to rooftop and all that's kind of nonsense. But we'd sneak out through his window, and like the next morning his mom's like, cooking breakfast and stuff like that, and she's like, hey, so next time you guys want to leave in the middle of the night, just use the front door. And we're just like, oh. You
Whoops.
figured that out, huh?
Yeah. Kids aren't as slick as they think they are.
Just like you guys weren't fooling anybody. Just use the front door so you don't hurt yourself.
Right.
I don't care what you went to go do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. I want to hang out with the patrons a little bit.
All right, cool.
Say what's up.
So yeah, we are about to shut off the stream. So if you guys are here or watching on the replay and you don't know what the after show is about, make sure you go to patreon.com/daily HiFi so you get the link for the video chat, and we can video chat with you guys after the show. So for those of you that are patrons, we will see you in just a few minutes. And for those that are not, we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel here at the Daily HiFi YouTube. Hey guys, on behalf of myself, Joe, and Aaron, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.